So we already have the presentation. All right. Well, hello, everyone. We want to welcome you. I hope you are excited to learn about the Solar Eclipse Cruises offered by Celebrity Cruises. So whether you're joining us live or watching the recording, welcome. And we hope we have an informative presentation for you. So here's our agenda for tonight. We're going to do an overview of the two Celebrity Solar Eclipse Cruises. We're going to give you details about the itinerary, where you're going to go and how you're going to see the solar eclipse. And then we're going to talk to you about what makes a celebrity cruise different from any other way you would want a vacation. And then we'll talk about our exclusive discounts and promotions and amenities that we have for our group guests. And then we hope you'll be ready to set sail and ready to book with us. So let's get going. So Celebrity has two solar eclipse cruises in 2026. There's one 14-night that goes to Spain and Portugal, and that is on the Edge class Celebrity Apex. And there's a 7-night that goes, it circumnavigates Iceland, and that is on the Celebrity Silhouette, which is a Solstice class ship. And I'll talk to you about those things a little bit later. But let's get going into the solar eclipse. So the solar eclipse is going to be August 12th of 2026. It's going to be visible from the Arctic to the Mediterranean. And we're going to give you two opportunities to view it, one from Spain and one from Iceland. This is a little more up close view of that path of totality for the solar eclipse. So you can see it goes from here in the Mediterranean, and it goes all the way up into Greenland, that it'll be total darkness. And what's unusual about this is that they usually do not have darkness during this time of year in the Arctic, or they might have an hour or two. So it's going to be, quite a treat if you're up in the Arctic to have that darkness. Steve and I actually accidentally did two solar eclipse cruises this year. We booked a Holland America cruise, and it happened to be in Cabo San Lucas during the eclipse. It wasn't in the path of totality. We were in about the 95%. And these are some of our pictures we took. Of course, there we are with our eclipse viewing glasses on. And then this fall, we took a cruise from Papeete to Santiago, Chile. And about 4 or 5 days into the cruise, they said, come up in the morning and see the solar eclipse. Now, we weren't in it was probably maybe about 55% covering where we were. If we had been a little bit further east, we would have been in the path of totality, but that was an annular eclipse, so it didn't get completely dark. The moon was too far away to completely block out the sun, but it did come completely across it a little bit closer to Easter Island than we were. Bring your solar glasses, order them from Amazon, bring a whole pack, share them with your friends. They didn't have any on Holland America, so we were glad that we brought our own because we were able to watch the eclipse with the solar glasses on. I want to tell you a little bit about our travel agency. We have a passion for exceptional experiences for all our guests. We have over a decade of dedicated service. Countless travelers have entrusted us to plan extraordinary vacation experiences for them. And that is what gives us joy, is having that exceptional experience that our clients have. We are definitely explorers at heart, love adventures around the world, and we love sharing that sense of adventure with all of our clients. Your dream vacation is our mission. We want to make something that is going to be extraordinary for you. Everybody has a little bit different expectations and desires, and we want to make sure that you are the focus of our vacation planning experience. We are so lucky that almost every single cruise line these days has adopted Starlink as their internet service. And it's really wonderful because that way we can travel the world and run our business from almost anywhere in the world. Starlink is a godsend for travel agents because I can answer my phone from anywhere in the world. I just answer it on my computer and it's great. I work on my clients' behalf. I have a lot of training experience to guide customers' decisions, and you will never pay more going through a travel agent. As a matter of fact, I'll show you how I actually have a better value, a better deal for you when you book these cruises through my agency versus booking direct. So let's jump into the itineraries. The first one we're going to look at is the 14-night Spain and Portugal solar eclipse. This is round trip from Southampton, and there you can see the map of where the cruise ship is going to be. We're going to talk about each of the different ports that are visited. And as a matter of fact, my background is Porto. This is a picture I took when we were there in June this year. Beautiful city, absolutely wonderful visit. So many things to do there. Definitely, if you are a wine lover, you want to find a local wine bar and do a flight of different Porto wines and the local green wine, which is a fruity, dry wine. It's not a fortified wine like port. They also have great local beers. There is a beautiful palace you can visit here. It's called Palacio de Bolsa, and it's known for its beautiful architecture and tile work and geometric shapes that they put in the ceilings in Portugal. There's a certain kind of ceiling that they do in Portugal that's absolutely beautiful. You can take a ride on the funicular. Porto has a lot of hills. They have funiculars that go up and down. They have a cable car gondola that can take you across the city and give you scenic views as you're going to one of the beautiful lookouts. There is a lot of that iconic Portuguese blue tile installations and arts all over the city. We saw some at the train station when we were there in June. There's also a botanical garden you can visit. I would also encourage you to sample the local Portuguese food. It is wonderful in both Porto and in Lisbon. And if you just want to go and escape at the beach, they even have a beach near Porto. The ship will dock about 30 minutes outside of town, so you have to plan your day accordingly, maybe either take a shuttle into town or take a ship's excursion to explore Porto. The next port you're going to visit is Lisbon. There's so many things to do. There's castles up on the hill you can go climb up. They have a sardine festival every year. And if sardines aren't your thing, I get it, but they love their grilled sardines in Porto. So if you like and enjoy seafood, you might give that a try. Or the bacalhau, that's the salted codfish that comes from the North Atlantic. And the Portuguese have historically fished and traded with that part of the world and brought the salted codfish back as a protein source for the people of Portugal. There are streetcars, historic looking streetcars that you can ride. There's also some funiculars that will take you up and down the hills. If you have a chance to experience the fado music, you won't, even if you don't speak Portuguese, you will definitely be able to understand the passion of that music. We had a fado concert when I was there in June of this year, and it was incredible. It was something I really, really loved. You can visit the Belém district, and that's where these two pictures are from that I have right up here. There's a monument to discovery, and then this is kind of an old fortress castle that is on the river there that they used to use as a toll, like a toll collection place. They have a beach in town. Again, if you're a beach person, there's parks, botanical gardens, or you might even want to take a tour to the neighboring town of Sintra, which was home to, or still is home to, multiple royal palaces and aristocratic palaces. Beautiful place. So lots of wonderful things to do in Lisbon. And I feel like after spending so much time there in June, I am your expert. I can help you with Lisbon and Porto and coming up with what to do. We've also visited Palma de Mallorca, and these are actually my pictures that I put in here. The cathedral, and I don't know if I can say it right because it's in Catalan and not Spanish, but it's Cathedral La Seu, as I think it's what it's called. It is the cornerstone of the downtown area. There's also beaches nearby. You can tour some underground caves, like in a little tourist boat. That's kind of a cool thing to do. There's a food market with Spanish specialties called Mercado de Olivar. You can take in, of course, the famous architecture, which was what I photographed here in the Gothic quarter. There's local olive oil that you can sample. You can also ride a vintage streetcar here, or enjoy a day swimming at a hidden cove. There are several just beautiful little beaches that are kind of just little cove beaches. And if you just want to sit on the corner and try a glass of the local wine, that works too. Barcelona, so many things to do here. Of course, the Ramblas is the famous boulevard where you can people watch and shop. Right on the Ramblas is the La Bucaria market, where you can see every kind of ham and Iberico sausage and all kinds of Spanish delicacies can be found and tasted in the market. There's also the famous Gothic quarter of Barcelona, and it has, of course, that historic Gothic architecture. And the cathedral that's downtown is definitely a showpiece for that area. There's also the amazing Sagrada Familia. You can spend almost a whole day exploring this place. They do have elevators that go up, and there's all kinds of areas you can explore up here. And then I think you have to walk back down. It's just an up elevator, but there's all kinds of interesting spiral staircases and beautiful things to see. And the neat thing about Sagrada Familia is that it is still under construction. I don't think it's going to be finished for another 30 years. So every time you go to Barcelona, it's in a little bit different state of completion. Parc de Güell is this beautiful park with, of course, these Gaudi buildings, as in Antonio Gaudi, same architect that did this. And there's all this wonderful cracked tile mosaics, artwork all over the Parc de Güell. You can, if you love the beaches, you can head over to the Golden Sand beaches. You can take cable cars to Mount Juic, which is a beautiful district, and there's museums. There is the National Chocolate there's a chocolate museum, the Picasso Museum, and the National Catalan Museum Treasury, which has things from Roman times in the 15th century, lots of wonderful, unique pieces that you can see in that museum. And then Ibiza.
The Sagrada Familia is scheduled to be done in 2026.
Oh, really? Okay, wow, I didn't think it was that soon. Okay, maybe they got a grant and there's hurry up architecture. I don't know. Okay, well, we're talking about Ibiza, and Ibiza is famous for its gorgeous waters, its beaches and beach clubs. But not a beach person, you can definitely sample some regional wines, maybe take a sailing or a boat trip to the rocky shores. There's all kinds of rocky shores and islands that are out in the bay in the surrounding area. And there's even a cave system that you can explore there. This ship does leave at midnight from this port, so you might even be able to take in a little bit of the famous nightlife that Ibiza is famous for. Malaga, Spain. I think we've been here 3 times now. One of my favorite ports in Spain. I love to just walk through the downtown area and take in the architecture and the art that is all over the city. I mean, you can see that these kind of sculptures and things are on every street corner. There's also let me see if I can say it right, Alcazaba Palace, which is famous for its Moorish style architecture because it was built during the Moorish occupation of Spain. And there's also Roman ruins there. That's what I've taken a picture of here. They kind of cover them to keep them protective. You can even do like a tapas and wine pub crawl. That sounds like fun to me. Go get a glass of wine and a tapas in this place and then walk down the street and have another one. And you can shop till you drop in the boutiques. The shopping street there is amazing and lots of wonderful things to buy and try on and experience. So La Coruña, Spain. This is the capital of the Galicia region of Spain, and it has 2,000 years of history. You can explore the old town. It's got cobblestone lanes and rolling hills and historic architecture. There's also the Tower of Hercules, which is still a working lighthouse, and it was built in the 1st century AD by the Romans. Again, beautiful beaches in this area as well. Or if you want to go shopping, you can try on the latest fashions in the shopping streets. So then
you can find a good Galician steak there. That's the best steak in the world, I think.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We've been on a couple cruise lines that serve that, and it's really good. So that's the celebrity eclipse. No, it's not on the eclipse, but this is the day of the eclipse. So you're going to leave La Coruña at 4 p.m. And it's right on the edge of the path of totality. So the ship will probably head a little bit more into the path of totality, so to make sure you get that complete darkness. The maximum eclipse is going to be 2 hours and 45 minutes after you leave port. So they're going to know exactly where to go to see that. and it'll be completed by about 9 p.m. Spain time. And then Bilbao, that's your final port in Spain. This is part of the Basque region, and it's also the gateway to the famous Rioja wine region. They have a museum of Guggenheim that has sort of brought a lot of tourism to the area. You can take a bus tour to get like an overview of the city, or you might just want to walk through the Casco Viejo, which is the old quarter. This seems to be a theme with a lot of these Spanish cities. They have these old quarters that they have preserved in these beautiful 14th century architectural buildings. There's lots of bars, shops, Gothic cathedrals, and the gastronomy in Bilbao is really starting to take off. So you might duck into a little gastropub and see if you can try some unique food there. Then you return back to Southampton. From here, you can transfer to Heathrow Airport or into London and extend your stay, or maybe go someplace else in the UK. Whatever you want to do, I can help you plan your hotel and an extension so that you have a fully immersive experience in London or somewhere else in the UK. So now the solar eclipse in Iceland, and I need to go change my background. I know this is really cute, right? I'm going to change my virtual background to Iceland. There we go. So now I'm left Portugal. I am in Iceland. And it is really one of the unique cultures of the world. There is a reason why Hollywood has discovered it for its out of this world filming locations. And unlike many European countries that are fighting over tourism, Iceland has really embraced tourism with open arms. The suppliers are expanding to meet the demand. And in 2023, 2.2 million people visited Iceland. And it's a country with a native population of just 400,000 citizens and residents. And pretty much everybody has gotten into something to do with tourism. And it's wonderful how welcoming they are to guests. So what do James Bond, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Star Trek, Captain America all have in common? All of these franchises were filmed in Iceland, and it really is known for its amazing landscapes that make for great movie sets. Reykjavik is the capital city. It's really quite cosmopolitan for being only 228,000 people. You can see the majority of people in Iceland do live in Reykjavik. And despite the small size of the capital, it has a lot of world-class things like this beautiful opera house in downtown, and a colorful, lively downtown area with lots of interesting architecture, like the cathedral that you see pictured right there. Iceland is also known as the land of fire and ice. It has black sand beaches, 32 active volcanoes, and plenty of hot springs and thermal bathing opportunities. But don't worry too much about the volcanoes. Their impact on tourism is non-existent. Most of the eruptions are tiny little fissure eruptions, and some tours can even take you safely to view the volcanic activity or the area that was recently an active volcano. Ice. Many parts of Iceland are covered with glaciers, and there are many activities and tours that you can do that will take you to view or even hike on a glacier. There's a lot of culture in Iceland. The country of Iceland was settled in about the 9th century. So this is some pictures from the National Museum, and it has artifacts all the way from the settlement days to the conversion to Christianity to the modern 20th century happenings and things that have happened in the 20th century in Iceland. And this is their cathedral that's downtown, which is another representation of the 20th century. They started building that church in the mid-20th century, and it was just finished, I believe, at the end. But the architectural style is designed to mimic the basalt volcanic formations that you see in many of the cliffs and that part of the world. Another area of the world where you see this type of basalt activity is also the Giant's Causeway in Ireland. There's waterfalls galore in Iceland. Oh my gosh, the waterfalls. So I definitely recommend you go see them because they're just one of the most beautiful things you can see. So this cruise starts in Reykjavik, which is the first permanent settlement in Iceland. And I would encourage you to come in early and stay a few days late, pre and post cruise. There's definitely some beautiful things to see in and around Reykjavik. Here's some pictures I took in 2019. We did the Golden Circle Tour, which is where you see the Golden Falls or Gullfoss waterfall, and also the geyser that goes off about every 8 to 12 minutes. So it's pretty consistent, pretty easy to get a picture of that. And then, of course, that beautiful concert hall downtown. First port you're going to visit on the cruise, you start from Reykjavik, you sail around to the Djúpivogur. Say that 3 times fast. It is a little small town. It has 500 full-time residents. And this town subscribes to what they call the sit slow movement. It encourages you to slow down, take things easy, relax, take things at a slower pace. And it's a great place to relax and unwind. One of the highlights of the town are these granite egg installations, which replicate in large scale the different eggs of all the Arctic birds that nest in the area. It's a beautiful thing to walk and go see. You can see all the eggs are slightly different shape because different birds have developed different strategies for laying their eggs. Some of their eggs are long and pointy, and that's supposed to keep them from rolling off the cliffs that they're laid on. It's just interesting study in bird eggs. There's also rock shops around town, quirky art installations, quirky souvenir shops, and lots of beautiful rock formations and lava flows that you can see different points of view of the town. If you want to get out of town and see something a little bit further afield, these are some of the things that are nearby. Celebrity has not released their excursions for 2026 yet, but this Ice Lagoon is included as one of the excursions on the 2025. So that might be something that you could do directly through Celebrity. This one, I believe you have to book it as a private tour. So maybe if you can get enough people together, it can keep the price down for everybody. There's a disc golf course in town. You want to just go out and have fun with your friends, bring your disc golf and play around a disc golf in the Djúpivogur. And then this is what I'm going to do in this town. I'm going to go for a hike. I have the All Trails app. We're going in 2025. So it's going to be a nice little hike and some nice scenic viewpoints. And it's free. You know, you can't beat free for an excursion. So moving on to the next port, the ship is going to travel to Akureyri, and it's nicknamed the northern capital of Iceland. And it was settled about the same time as Reykjavik in the 9th century. And despite being so far north, it actually has a harbor that is pretty much ice-free year-round. Has a population of 18,000 people, so that makes it a pretty big city for Iceland. Fishing is the main industry, and I'll show you in this next picture. They have a little troll outside one of the gift shops. The folk culture with trolls and elves and all those kind of things is a little bit more popular, a little bit more part of the culture in this part of Iceland than it is down south in Reykjavik. Well, one of the things that you're definitely gonna want to do is get out of town and see some of the beautiful scenery that is just outside of Akureyri. In 2019, when we visited, we were blessed with a little bit of snow as we were coming into port in May. I don't think you're going to have snow in August, but these are some of the pictures. Now, let me see if I can say the name of this place right. It's Dimmuborgir. And this is a volcanic lava field. At Christmas time, they put lights here, and this is where that folk culture comes to life. They have local people that are not really professional actors, but they're local people that portray the Yule lads. And the Yule lads are mischievous Santa's helpers, and they sort of have different personalities like the Seven Dwarfs. And that's a lot of fun. I imagine the kids just absolutely love that when they go up there for that. In the middle is the Godafoss Falls, and legend has it that when Iceland converted from paganism to Christianity, that they, through the local tribal leader, threw all the wooden idols over the falls in an effort to say, hey, we're leaving that, and now we're embracing Christianity. And this is us going out to see one of those lava mud pits, those boiling mud pits is what they are, another geothermal area in Iceland. So here's just some more pictures of those. You can see where Akureyri is. I have another map that's going to show where all those things are located in just a second. But Godafoss Falls, this is something that I say you can't miss. You've got to figure out a way to get out to Godafoss. There's a couple of different ways to do it, and I'll show that in the next slide. The least expensive way to get there, and I researched this, is the 79 public bus. It goes and it actually stops at the waterfall, and you can put an app on your phone that'll tell you where the bus is and where the schedule is, and it's in English. So you look at this, it's stratoiceland.en for English. And it's about $24 a person round trip. There's also some tours that I've seen through Sandy. There's also some tours that I've seen through Viator that are about 2.5 hours. You're definitely in port long enough to take an independent tour. So here, let me see if I can let the dog out. She's barking. She's okay. So it's definitely enough time in port to take an independent tour, as long as you make sure you're going in the morning and you're allowing plenty of time to come back. If you want to do a full day tour, you can book those through Celebrity, and they'll take you out to the more extensive places. Then you don't have to worry about getting back to the port on time because you're taking a Celebrity tour. But there's also some other great things to do in Akureyri. One of the newest things that opened there is this thermal pool called the Forest Lagoon. There's actually, you can book it ahead of time online, and there's actually a free shuttle from the parking lot next to the cruise ship that will take you to the Forest Lagoon. They were building a tunnel through the mountain several years ago, and they struck a hot spring, and I bet you that's where they get the water to fill this Forest Lagoon. It's a beautiful setting, and when you say forest, so Iceland didn't really have trees, but they have planted trees alongside the hills that are doing well, and it's kind of nestled among those pine trees that are in that area. Akureyri also has a free botanical garden, and it is beautiful. These are pictures I took at that botanical garden this August. Beautiful flowers blooming, lovely place. You can walk through it for free. There's no charge to go there. Another thing, if you want to have an authentic Icelandic experience, every single city in Iceland has a public pool, and Akureyri has one of the nicest, most expansive ones. It is open year round. These are geothermally heated pools. There are different temperatures for different areas. And this is how Icelanders relax. This is what they do. And all Icelanders speak English. I mean, literally everyone speaks English because nobody else in the world speaks Icelandic. So if they want to communicate, they have to learn English. They start learning it in like 3rd grade. So you can go and sit and have a conversation with a local Icelander in one of the pools. There's, of course, admission charge to get in there, but, you know, it's nothing like getting into the Blue Lagoon. So let's keep going. So now we have Akureyri, Iceland, and in a map. And this is what I want to show you. This is where the city is. This is where Fosshall is, where the Godafoss waterfall is. And then this is the Mývatn nature baths. And I forgot to mention that it was pictured in one of my earlier slides, but it's an alternative to the Blue Lagoon, and it's up by Akureyri. And then there's this Lake Mývatn is up here. Really beautiful, scenic, incredible place to explore. We explored a lot of that when we were there in 2019. So the next day is going to be your scenic sailing day, and the ship is going to go out and sail into the path of totality so you can see that solar eclipse. And here I have the time that it's going to take place up in Iceland, and it should be spectacular. Hopefully you have great weather and be able to see it fully. And again, remember to bring your own solar viewing glasses from home. They didn't have any on Holland America. I don't know if Celebrity will have them because they're advertising this as an eclipse cruise, but I would bring them just in case. And now we're at Ísafjörður. So Ísafjörður is one of the most popular cruise ports in Iceland. Sailing in and out is not to be missed because there's some spectacular scenery as you're coming and going. And here's just a picture of some of the scenery that I took when we were there in 2022. I grabbed a screenshot of the shore excursions that Celebrity is offering for 2025. Remember, the 2026 ones aren't quite available, but this will give you an idea. Now, I can't quite figure out why this one is so expensive. It must be very, very extenuous and like an all-day type thing. But there's some ones that are a little bit more moderate, like you can go to the Fox Preserve, or you can go see something like this. Like this is an authentic turf house, and that's how they used to build their houses in Iceland. They would build them with these big, thick turf walls, and it would keep them warm all winter. And then scenic sailing out of Ísafjörður. Just again, one of my favorite things to do in Iceland is the scenic sailing. So then you're going to come back into Reykjavik, and you actually are going to have an overnight in Reykjavik. So this last day of your cruise, you're already in Reykjavik. This gives you an opportunity to take some tours through Celebrity. You might want to do the Golden Circle tour if they offer it. I'm sure they will. It's one of the most popular tours. You also could book it as an independent tour because you don't have to be at the ship at any particular time. You just have to get yourself to the meeting point for the independent tour. Here's some more things that you can do in and around Reykjavik. Again, two highlights from the Golden Circle tour, the geyser and the Gullfoss Falls. This picture is taken on the South Coast tour, and there's lots of beautiful waterfalls on that one. This is the Blue Lagoon, again, one of the most popular places. And then this is the Reykjanes Peninsula tour, where you go out and see that otherworldly volcanic landscape. And again, another one of my pictures from the Golden Falls. I've tried to put as many of my pictures as I can in as possible. This is pictures from our whale watching tour in 2022 when we were there. And the food scene is so much fun in Reykjavik. We were just doing lunch. So we did fast casual, we did fish and chips. And just keep in mind that food is pretty expensive. I think the fish and chips was like $40 a person. But if you want to do a truly gourmet dinner, maybe for only like 50% more, like $60 a person, you can really get into the culinary art scene where chefs are making some beautiful dishes and handcrafting some local cuisine. My daughter is going in 2025. There are lots of specialty vegan restaurants, so she's super excited about that. And again, look, all the signs are in English. I tell you, literally everybody in Iceland speaks English. And they actually have a lot of not guest workers, but EU workers that are part of the Schengen area that come from different parts of Europe and come and work in Iceland. And of course, they have to speak English because they're dealing with tourists, and they need to have a common language between the Icelanders and the people from the other parts of the EU. Again, the architecture is beautiful in Reykjavik. Here's the Blue Lagoon. It is a very, very touristy spot. I think it's about $100 US to make a visit there. So just keep that in mind. It is beautiful and wonderful and fantastic looking. The mineral water helps with things like eczema and psoriasis, and they even have creams that you can buy and take home with you that will help with those things. It has some of those same contents that you have at the Blue Lagoon. But again, if you want that authentic Iceland experience, go to the city pool. They're geothermally heated as well, and you're going to get to talk to some local Icelanders at the city pool.
Pool year-round.
Yep, year-round. Those pools are open year-round. This map gives you a good idea of where some of these things are located. So here's Reykjavik. Here's where we did the whale watching. This is the Reykjanes Peninsula here. The airport is actually out here. And so I'll need to help you get a transfer from the airport to Reykjavik, but it's pretty easy. There is a fly bus that just every half hour goes back and forth. There's the Thingvellir National Park, which is also part of the Golden Circle tour, the geyser, the Gullfoss, the Golden Falls, and then the South Coast tour. These are pictures from our South Coast tour that we did in August of this year. I highly recommend that you do that. It was spectacular. This is the very last thing you see, which is the city of Vik on the South Coast tour. That's the furthest you go from Reykjavik. And there you get an idea. There's Reykjavik there. It's an all-day tour. It's 8 hours. You are not on the bus for 8 hours, but they give you plenty of time in your different stops to go see these waterfalls and see these incredible sights and scenery. I got to tell you, we had absolutely horrible weather. There were 60-mile-an-hour winds and it was raining most of the day. We had an incredible time. I'm telling you, it was incredible. A lot of people ask me, what about the Northern Lights? Will we be able to see them? Well, this time of August, it's going to be a little harder because you have to have a dark night sky. Maybe you can see them during the eclipse. I don't know. That would be really cool if you could see them during the eclipse. But you have to have a clear sky and a dark night sky. So some people will even come specifically in the winter just to see the Northern Lights. And they have a whole week of cloudy skies and they don't see them at all. So it's really luck of the draw if you get to see the Northern Lights. We took this picture ourselves on August 20th on a recent visit. And here's one other thing. Dress for the weather you have, not the weather you want. I mentioned this is our day we did the South Coast tour, and it was rainy and windy. We were dressed right. I was very comfortable all day. I had several layers on. I got my hat, I got my waterproof pants on and my waterproof boots. If you see the picture that I took of the lady in the cave with her hands up like that, you had to walk through a little bit of a stream that was maybe about 2 or 3 inches deep to get to that place to take a picture. So that's why the waterproof boots are important. Rain jackets, even if it's not blustery and you're going to be going to these waterfalls, the mist will get you wet. So you definitely want to at least have a rain poncho if you're going to go visit the waterfalls. Layers, scarves, gloves, hats. And the Icelanders have a saying, there's no bad weather, just bad clothing choices. So make sure that you dress in layers, because if you do have a sunny day, you'll get hot very quickly and you want to take some of those layers off. Bring a backpack where you can put your layers in and out of it. So let's talk about what celebrity means, because celebrity is going to be such a great way to experience both of these destinations and the solar eclipse. Celebrity is really about giving you an elevated cruise experience in every aspect of it. They have this new saying, nothing comes close. And it's basically that you're never going to want to vacation in any other way. Every detail is going to be elevated beyond what you ever thought a vacation could be. You'll enjoy an intimate feeling and thoughtful service of a smaller ship, but you have the variety and the excitement of a bigger one. So it's the best of both worlds. And so if you want to explore the world and get away for it for a little while, nothing comes as close as to Celebrity Cruises. They're an award-winning cruise line. They visit over 300 destinations, 16 ships, 7 continents. They have 4 ships that are 4-star rated by Forbes, and only 15 resorts at sea are even rated by Forbes. So that is a big honor that they have received those awards. Celebrity is great for the foodie, the cultural enthusiast, the maverick. This is somebody who wants to travel on their own terms and live like a local, explore things a little bit more, and the indulgence seeker. A vacation is about treating yourself, and you'll love that experience of a little touch of luxury while you're on Celebrity. The destination is always super important to Celebrity, so they want to make sure that when you cover all these destinations, that they're giving you an opportunity to experience them to the fullest. Their culinary program is, I think, it's unmatched by anybody in their class of service, which is the premium line. They are led by a Michelin-starred chef, Daniel Boulud, and they have 200 chefs from around the world that help to curate their menus. Elevated hospitality, they are going to know your favorite drink and how you want it fixed every single day. And their ships are designed, their newer ships are designed by a set of designers that have never worked on cruise ships. So they completely thought out of the box. You can do as much or as little as you want on Celebrity. You can either have fun and party all night, or you can simply relax and enjoy your ocean views. These are some of their ships these are the 4 classes of ships that they have. They are down to 1 ship in the Galapagos, the Celebrity Flora. That is their all-suite expedition ship. The Millennium ships are their oldest class of ships, 2 of which have been fully renovated and restored. Smaller, a little more intimate experience. And the 2 ships that apply to the 2 itineraries that we've talked about are the Edge class. It's the Celebrity Apex eschewing Portugal and Spain. And the Solstice class, Celebrity Silhouette, is doing the Iceland cruise. Just some images of what Celebrity is all about. They want you to relax and have fun and just be fully immersed in your destination and enjoy your time on your floating resort. Here's some of the different activities they have. People are like, oh, I'm going to be so bored on a cruise. No, there's plenty of things to keep you busy on a cruise ship. And they also have amazing shows with acrobats and aerialists. I met one of the acrobats on one of my cruises, and he used to be a competitive gymnast. They went to circus school to learn how to do the acrobatics. They have guest musicians and singers and production shows and party bands. They really have a wonderful music program on Celebrity. They have acoustic evenings in some areas and a gourmet dining experience. You are absolutely going to get the best dining experience on Celebrity than you would on any other premium cruise line. The buffets have a wide variety of cuisines from around the world. There's so many beautiful venues where you can enjoy a meal on Celebrity. And don't miss the silent disco. This is one of the fun events. There's a little headset. It's got 3 channels with 3 different songs playing, and you can switch colors and change to a different song. This is my daughter, my sister, and 2 of my friends just having a great time on the Celebrity Silhouette when we were in Norway 2 years ago. Wonderful cruise. And the Martini Bar is another hopping spot for mixed drinks, and of course their famous flair bartending. And I tell you, Tom Cruise ain't got nothing on this guy. Look how many martinis he's pouring at once. That's one of my favorite things, the big pour. So the Apex, this is the ship that is doing the Spain and Portugal cruise. It is the Edge class. It's one of the newer classes of ship. There's a look at the lovely atrium with the Martini Bar and the aft facing with panoramic windows Eden Lounge, 2 of my favorite venues on that ship. Look at the resort deck, which is the pool deck. And then they also have this magic carpet, which is used as a tendering platform, but it also serves as an extension of the pool deck as a bar. It's kind of cool. It's cantilevered over the side of the ship. Specialty dining. This ship has so many wonderful specialty dining restaurants, really amazing venues for specialty dining. And then the rooms on this. So the standard cabins, which are balconies, concierge, and aqua class cabins, are all identical layouts. The aqua class includes the spa, thermal suite access, and the dedicated blue dining room, but your room is going to look just like this. It's this layout. And then the concierge class includes a welcome bottle of champagne, a welcome lunch. The rooms are on higher floors, and you get a dedicated guest services desk and priority embarkation. Again, the rooms are exactly the same. And then your standard balconies laid out the same. They just don't have these extra amenities that Aqua and Concierge class have. There's also suites on these ships, beautiful, luxurious suites. So if you're interested in really splurging, you get, with the suite, you get your own dedicated restaurant and lounge areas and decks and everything on this ship. The ocean view rooms are also really quite nice. And I have some clients that really like these because as you're coming back to the ship, you only go up 1 flight of stairs and you're right there on deck 3 where these ocean view rooms are located. And you can see they're just as spacious as the balcony rooms, but they just don't have that extra balcony area. They have a picture window. And then this is just another view of those concierge class and infinite veranda cabins right there. Oh, and I should go back and explain about the infinite verandas. So your room has this floor to ceiling, wall to wall window. And with the touch of a button, you press a button and this window comes down to railing height and creates your balcony. You do have these bifold doors that you can close behind you if you want to separate the balcony from the room, or you can keep it open and have this very lovely open air veranda. And in places like Iceland or the Atlantic side of Spain, you're going to have lots of cool breezes. It's going to be very comfortable to have those windows open and enjoy the scenery. Now, the Celebrity Silhouette is the ship that is doing Iceland. And I'll show you a couple of the features that this ship has that are unique to this class of ship. They have this wonderful forward-facing sky bar, which is their observation lounge with these panoramic windows. And they also have the lawn club, which is a great place to get out and do things like croquet, sit and have a picnic, listen to music. If the weather is nice, this is going to be a wonderful place to hang out. They have a beautiful main dining room, and one of my favorite things is the focal point. This is the wine tower in the main dining room. Just a wonderful place to dine and all that wonderful celebrity food. The atrium pool, which will be nice in Iceland, is a covered pool that they have, and they also have an open pool and the hot tubs that are out there. Specialty dining on this ship: Tuscan grill, cuisine, La Petite Chef, the porch, sushi Murano. And for those of you that aren't familiar maybe with what specialty dining is on cruising, so of course, all your meals in the buffet, the main dining room, those are all included with the price of your cruise. But if you want to do an extra special little treat for yourself, you might want to book one night in one of these specialty venues, because the main dining room food is really good, but then it gets even more elevated when you go to specialty dining. A little more personalized service. In Murano's, for example, you see she's got all these covers. When you order at a table for 5 people, they bring all the entrees out. They have 5 waiters, and everybody is presented their food at the same time, and it's uncovered. So it's kind of really cool how they present everything together. And they also have on both classes of ship the La Petite Chef experience. And I don't know if you can see, there's a little animated chef that makes your meal on your plate, and then the actual dish that he's made on your plate in the animation is then presented to you, and you get to enjoy it. It's kind of fun. I've done it a couple of times, and I was like, this is just really different and cute. Little way to get entertained. The standard rooms on this ship have traditional balconies, so a sliding glass door and an outside veranda that you can go out and stand on. Completely separate from your room, but you really can't leave your room open to it because it only opens halfway. 94 square feet with 54 square foot balconies. Again, this is the same room size and layout for Aqua Class, Concierge Class, and standard balconies. And there is the ocean view cabin on this ship, still nicely appointed, and just no balcony that you can walk out on, and an interior cabin. We've put my daughter in an interior cabin a couple of times, and she said it was the best sleep she ever got. So if you're on a budget or you like sleeping in, interior cabins are great. There's also suites, and this is the starting class of suite on this ship. So I just kind of wanted to show you all the different cabins, and then we're going to talk next. We're going to talk about our group rates and why our group rates are so great. So this is of course the part you're waiting for. What do we have? We have our group rates include the drinks and the Wi-Fi package. They include a refundable deposit, which a lot of people, if you're planning this far in advance, that's important to have. And then we have value and savings over the individual rates. Now, I kind of joke that you need a degree to be able to book with Celebrity, because they have so many different rates and discount codes that it can be overwhelming. But you're in good hands with me. I have my master cruise counselor and my elite cruise counselor certification. So I'm always able to help with this. So I want to let you know these other rates are out there. So this is the best value. Our group rates, refundable deposit, drinks, Wi-Fi, and we have a little surprise onboard credit for you. But there is a no perk non-refundable rate, drinks and Wi-Fi non-refundable, no perk refundable deposit, drinks and Wi-Fi. And then they're also sometimes offer senior rate, state rate, military discounts. So there is a flash sale that is going on this weekend, November 1st through November 4th. It will give you $200 per cabin off our balcony, or $100 per cabin off the ocean view rooms or inside cabins, if you're interested in booking those. And this discount applies to our group rates. So now I'm going to bring up a little price comparison chart for you and show you how the different rates compare. Now, this is for the Spain and Portugal cruise. I have 7 of the concierge class cabins. So remember, those come with the welcome bottle of champagne, the luncheon. You get 5 loyalty points per day instead of 3. You have your own dedicated customer service desk. I've got 7 of those left. And this is the price per person with drinks and Wi-Fi. And we've taken that $100 per, or excuse me, the $100 per person, $200 per cabin off. And I'll get to it in a little bit, but we actually have an extra onboard credit just for people who are attending the webinar. So per person on Spain and Portugal, it's going to come to $53.12. Now this rate is out there. It does not include your drinks and your Wi-Fi, and I can book you with that, and you'll still get our webinar $100 onboard credit, but you don't get your drinks and your Wi-Fi covered. So you have to add up the value of that and see, you know, it's less than $600 difference. And when you divide that by the number of days, 14 days, does it make sense to have your drinks and Wi-Fi included? It probably does. There's also a no perk non-refundable. Look, our price beats that. And the 2 perk refundable deposit, which is essentially what you have with ours. We've got the drinks and the Wi-Fi and a refundable deposit. This is the current rate for that. So this rate beats the socks off that. It's just a matter of do you want to book at this rate or that one? I think with a $600 difference on a 14-night cruise, it makes sense. And then we have ocean views in our allocation for this is for the Celebrity Apex, Spain and Portugal. Remember those ocean views? You go right up the stairs and right to your room. It's really easy to get to. Again, a little bit more of a difference between the no perk and the perks rate, but we still beat the 2 perk non-refundable deposit and the 2 perk refundable deposit rate. So really good deal that we have because I took out this group the day that they launched and I locked in my rates. I've got, actually, I think I might be down to 6 of the concierge class cabins. Didn't I book one today, Steve? No, I booked. Sure did. No, I booked Aqua Class. That's what I booked. And that was out of our headquarters allocation. So I also have cabins. I can't hold those cabins. You have to call me and see what's available because we have 2,000 franchises that can book into that space. So if you're interested in that allocation, I have to quote you a price and we have to book it on the spot. I can't hold it without deposit. So here's the price comparison for the Iceland cruise. And I've done this is really the best value because you're getting the 2 perks and you're keeping getting a flexible refundable deposit. If you don't book with a refundable deposit, you're going to put for the 14-day cruise, it's $900 down. And for the 7-day cruise, it's $500. And they will never, ever, ever refund that money back to you if you book with a non-refundable deposit. You can reschedule, and at the time you do this, you have to pick the new ship and sail date, and they will move most of it over, but they're going to charge you a $200 change fee. So you lose $200 every time you change your schedule. So that's why it's important to have that refundable deposit. So you have complete flexibility. You book this with me now, and a year from now, your niece is getting married the week of this cruise, and you need to cancel, I'm going to call Celebrity and they're going to give you your full deposit refunded back to you. Otherwise, you can only reschedule and you don't get everything moved over. So this rate, again, beats that. You look here, again, you've got to calculate, is it worth having your drinks and Wi-Fi and a refundable deposit? But I can do these rates all day long if that's what you prefer. I have some guests that don't drink and they're like, no, I'm 100% going on this cruise. Book me with the non-refundable deposit and I can do that for you. You still get our special webinar offer, which I'm going to get to right now. It was on the slide, but for the first 10 bookings we get between now and September 7th, we're going to be able to add I'm sorry?
So that was the 11th, 2 weeks from today.
It's September 7th because I think the promo with the flash sales, we did September 7th because that promo was going to expire. So we wanted you to get booked during the promo. Anyway, first 10 cabins that we get booked from webinar attendees, we are going to give you $100 extra onboard credit. And you're in good hands when you work with us. I am a Celebrity expert. I literally book hundreds of cabins at Celebrity every year. I do most of my groups with them. I am one of their top producers in my region. And I know what it takes to make things work for you with Celebrity. I understand the layout of the ship. I understand how to do the dining, all those kind of things. You're going to get my concierge level service. You're going to get my expert planning and guidance. I am expert at most of the ports that we have talked about. I've been to almost all of them. There's only like 2 I've never been to. So great, going to help you with that. I'm also provide expert assistance with your flights. And here I kind of went too fast. Let me go back. Again, we've got our discounted group rates. And Steve and I are going to strive to make sure that every aspect of your vacation exceeds your expectations. So now let's talk about flights by celebrity. This is how I recommend you book your flights. At 11 months from return date, flights by celebrity will open up and you can book your flights, add them to your reservation, no deposits required, and there's no commitment. You pay with final payment. You can cancel with no penalties anytime before final payment, the air portion, of course. If you have a non-refundable deposit on the cruise portion, there would be penalties, but the air portion, there's no penalty to cancel before final payment. And this is the most important part. You select the price, the airline, and the routing that works for you. Celebrity doesn't sit in some office and go, oh, here's your air. You pick your air. You can choose your class of service, economy, premium economy, or business class. And it gives you a little extra insurance policy because they guarantee your arrival at the destination, and they have a 24-hour support team to help you reschedule your flights if you get to the airport and your flight is canceled or you miss your connection, whatever it is. And they have very competitive rates. I also just want to touch really quickly on some of the other group cruises that we are doing. We have a couple escorted river cruise in November of 2025. We're doing Avalon Waterways in Bordeaux. We're having a webinar on that November 7th. We also have a fantastic partnership with Los Milix Vineyards from Elgin, Arizona, and we are doing Gems of Southeast Europe, a celebration of wine cruise with them. And then in April of 2026, we're doing the Avalon Vista Romantic Rhine with Lucerne and Lake Como. We still have availability on our 28-night Alaska sailing round trip from Seattle on June 8th of 2025. We have exclusive perks and amenities. So if you're interested in that, book, and you can book by October 31st. There is a extra special thing you get. You get to have it all with free prepaid gratuities. So if you're interested in that, give me a call. I'll get you a quote on that one as well. In 2026, we also have 2 ways to visit Antarctica. So one is on the Celebrity Equinox. That is a scenic sailing only. You spend a lot of visit ports in South America, but you'll scenic sail through some of those beautiful parts of Antarctica. We are doing a landing though. We've done that twice and we really wanted to land in Antarctica. So we are going to be doing that also in 2026. We still have a really great pricing on that as well. And we have a recorded webinar on YouTube. And then in March of 2026, we are partnering once again with our friends at Ascension Cellars to do a fabulous wine cruise with Eric Allen, who'll bring his wines on board the Celebrity ship. And we'll have 4 special wine tasting events for all our guests. We also have Scandinavian Capitals, May of 2026, a wonderful Holland America cruise. We have a recorded webinar. If you're interested in learning more about that, just send me an email. I'll send you the link to the webinar. And then October of 2026, we have back-to-back Windstar and Azamar groups with a 4-day layover in Athens, Greece. It's an 8-night Aegean Sea Odyssey with the Corinth Canal. Very few ships are small enough to fit through there, and the Windstar Legend is one of them. And then we're doing Azamar. This sailing is very Sicily intensive. I've been to Italy many times, never been to Sicily. So we're super excited about that as well. If you want to look at more, we have tons of groups. So this is our link. Email me if you want that. Do you want a copy of this link to go look at all of our groups where we have fantastic savings and amenities for you. And we also have national account pricing on many, many different sailings. So if you don't find anything on my individual page, but you see something that's of interest to you, call me. I can see if we have block space. And I know a lot of my clients are like, they've learned to say that, Suzanne, do you have block space on that sailing where I can get you a discounted price? And it's from our headquarters inventory. So book now for big savings and joy this group. It's going to be fantastic. If you book by November 7th, you're going to get that $200 per cabin savings. You get the risk-free refundable deposits, our group rates with the beverage and Wi-Fi, and $100 onboard credit for the first 10 cabins that book with us by November 7th. So I'm super excited. I'm looking forward to getting phone calls from all of you because I know you're going to want to book one of these cruises. And I got to tell you, do not wait. The Iceland cruise is already code yellow, which means that it is selling out fast. The 14-day one is a little bit more inventory and availability, but if you want to do that Iceland cruise, you need to call me tonight or tomorrow and get your room held because it is starting to sell out fast. So,
Suzanne,
yes.
there are a couple of us that I know that have already booked that one.
Yes, and so you're good. You're good to go. You're already booked.
And what about that extra $100? Does that apply?
I've got you on the list. It's
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
I already put it on your on your invoice. It's already on there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to
See if there's
I
any
guess
questions.
see if there's any questions. I can stop the slideshow, but if you need me to go back and refer to something, let me know. You're welcome to put it in the chat. I've got that up, or just unmute yourself and feel free to ask a question if anybody has any questions. Any questions? All right. Well, we usually I cover so much of these presentations that we don't get a lot of questions. I'm going to blame it on me being so thorough. So let's go ahead and stop the recording.